This is the first time we're talking about the club. This is the first time the club are playing since they had a 10-point deduction. Do you think that was fair? A precedent has been set here, by the way, and I'm sure other clubs are going to be seeing and watching what occurs from here.
Well, what I want to say is if you are harsh with Everton, you got to be with every single team. I think they are not the only one that maybe breach financial fair play, so it has to be fair for everyone. And I'm sure many other teams didn't really respect the financial fair play. So, of course, it looks harsh because if you take all the teams in Europe, everyone is a bit guilty somewhere else in a way. And they try to make an example out of Everton. Maybe they will try to get any other team. Man City is one of them. There's an inquiry and they should try and go and see every other team. But if they got so harsh with Everton, I believe they will have to be harsh with any other teams. Because if you look at other leagues, you also have teams that are not really respecting the financial fair play. Everton in England didn't really respect, but what about the other teams? So to me, it seems to be a bit harsh. Just
within England, Pep has said he doesn't fully understand it, and he believes that it's different charges. Chelsea have some investigations going on, although that's more to do with the previous ownership and some dealings. Even Spurs, because of an unauthorised agent way back in, I think, 2008 with Jermaine Defoe. What about yourself, Jermaine, another name?
I think it's very harsh. We're not talking about hundreds of millions of pounds overspent, and you've got to put into place, like they've said, the COVID period, which hit a lot of businesses and a lot of losses. And also, on top of that, they've just built a new stadium, which they would have had to get loans.
Are building?
Yeah, are building a new stadium in the midst of it. So there's a lot of factors to play here, and to come down on them so heavy because of that, I think is really harsh. And like I said, it's not hundreds of thousands, millions. I think that the figure's looking around, you know, maybe 15 million. And under the circumstances that I've just mentioned with the COVID and the new stadium, I think a 10-point deduction is very harsh, and you can see why Everton are grieved by it and making so much noise.
But weren't all clubs affected by COVID at the same time? That's what the ruling was saying, that everybody got affected by it, and maybe it's just bad transfers.
Where do you start? Where do you start? You've got to start somewhere because it's an unfair advantage. I think it's harsh. I think the 10 points will get reduced. I think they'll probably get 6 points. I think that's what it'll come back to. But I think, you know, you've got to look at the likes of Man City, the likes of Chelsea. They're all breaching it. They're all breaching it. So they've got to start somewhere. I think Man City are going to get it very hard, and I think Chelsea are going to get very hard. But I think it's unfair that they've been hit with a 10 points. But I think that as I said, I think it will get reduced. And, you know, you've got to start somewhere. If you're going to bring in a fair play rule, then it should be fair for everybody. So, you know, I think they've come down on Everton hard because they know they're going to come down on Man City. I mean, they're talking how many counts of breaches that Man City have had. Chelsea, I still don't understand how they're getting round spending their money that they are spending. I know they're giving the players long-term contracts, but they're still spending the money, aren't they?
Yeah. Why it's also harsh, I feel, for Everton is that if you go into administration, the maximum you get is 9 points. And they've, breached it. Look, rules are rules. If you don't abide by them, you'll get punished. But for a 10-point for, 15 million overspent or, loss is a little bit harsh when you only get 9 points for going into administration. So, like I said, they've obviously came up with that ruling, that figure. And like Conor just said, the teams like Chelsea and Manchester City, 115 breaches the Premier League have brought to justice for Man City. So if they get found even on half of them or a quarter of them, that's still more than Everton's won. It could be a dark time.
I'm going to come to you first because of your history at Leeds and Portsmouth, getting relegated there, but the club's going through turmoil in the process as well. What does this do to a team? Does it galvanise them? Does it dishearten them? Is it a good thing in a way in terms of getting the fans on board and supporting the team? Goodison is going to be raucous today. Well,
for Everton and for Sean Dyche, this is a perfect scenario. He couldn't have wished for a better scenario to be in, though. It feels like everyone's against them. The fans have now fully backed the club and supported them in every single dimension and every possible way. And Sean Dyche has got nothing to lose now. He's got a 10-point deficit, which put them in relegation, no fault of his own. Now his job is to try and get them out. If he doesn't, it's not a bad look because, you know, he got hit with a big point deduction. If he gets them out, he's a hero. But the fans now will be supporting them, and them Everton fans are very passionate. And if they do, it's like having a 12th man with this team.
Yeah. Back?
Yeah,
good for the team in a weird sort of way.
Yes, I perfectly agree with Jermaine. I think if I was a player, I would be very upset about how it looked, but I would be very motivated to reverse the situation. Now it's done anyway. They have to make their job on the pitch. What happens outside the pitch, I think the official from the club and the board will be applying, or they'll be looking for it. So as a player, what you can do is stick together as a team. They're going to have the support for the fans. It's a fantastic game to play because they're playing Manchester. It's not so far, so it's a mini derby. It's a game to watch. It's a game to play. It's a game to win. And that could maybe take them out of the relationship.
I think it releases the pressure. That's what it's done. Yes. But let's be honest. The 4 teams that are down there, Everton should still get out of it. You know, let's be honest with you, Sheffield United are not going to get the points to get out of it. Luton got that win the other day, but Luton are still going to be down there. Burnley are in free fall as it is. Bournemouth are going to be down there. So, you know, knowing Sean Dyche, knowing what it's about, like I agree with Jermaine, it's a good situation if you want for the manager, because now it's like, right, everybody's going to get behind him. Everybody's going to get behind him. Everybody's going to get behind him. It's a good situation, but still, I'm looking at that and saying, well, you've had the points deduction. You're still not a million miles behind. Plenty of games to go. You should still get out of it. And he will.